Now, let's start right here. Jessica Tarlov, live on air, literally defending illegal immigrants over American citizens, might I add, and shaming the very ICE agents doing their job. This is why the masks come off.
You can't say it's a safety issue?
I did about that specific issue there, but when you look at the statistics of who they're actually arresting, you know that they're wearing masks because they're not making good on the promises that they made to the American people of arresting criminals. 70% of the people...
They're wearing masks because they're embarrassed?
Well,
is that what you're saying, Jessica?
Yeah, I do think
really?
that
How do you know that? How do you know that?
Well, I would be, if I was the ICE agent...
That's mind reading, and it's absurd. It's mind reading, and it's absurd.
They should be ashamed of what they're doing. If you are the ICE agent that's picking up a 17-year-old kid on the way to volleyball practice who's been here since he was 5 in Massachusetts, or there was a Missouri woman who's been here for 20 years, mother of 3, going to a routine check-in that's being arrested, and you know what they're doing? They're trying to satisfy Stephen Miller. The conservative Washington Examiner, a conservative paper, has this quote out of a private meeting where Stephen Miller is screaming at agents, what do you mean you're going after criminals? Why aren't you at Home Depot? Why aren't you at 7-Eleven? They want to pick up everybody who is here illegally, which is not what he campaigned on. He said we're going to get the bad hombres and the criminals out of here. So yes, I think if you are showing up to detain a 17-year-old, that you should be wearing a mask and you should be embarrassed of what you're doing.
Well, wow. I don't think that's why they wear a mask. Again, Katie, it's always
for the show,
they always say they're for the function. Oh, we're for.
ICE agents should be ashamed, she claims. No, she should be ashamed of herself. And of course, the public are calling for Jessica to be fired. You should be fired after this, is comments I'm seeing all over the internet. But ICE agents should be ashamed. You're talking about law enforcement officers removing people who have been in this country illegally? Some for decades? And we're just supposed to crown Q because they've grown comfortable here? Make it make sense. That's not justice, Jessica. That's emotional blackmail. Now, listen closely. Because Jessica's out here shaming ICE, right, for doing their job. But Greg Gutfeld is about to drop the real story behind who these so-called victims actually are and why defending them just blew up in the Democrats' face. Peep this.
Not convicted of anything, left to rot in a foreign prison.
He has been convicted.
He has not.
Yes, he has. Hey, he's illegal. He's been arrested. And get this, he's not an American citizen. If you want to spend all your attention trying to protect a human trafficker, you can do that. What I love about this is that in order to find this out, we had to send him to El Salvador, which created this unstable hysteria among camera-chasing Democrats, which forced this guy's crimes into plain view. Suddenly, the Maryland dad, and that's what you called him, was no word cleaver, more like Freddy Krueger, a wife-beating gangbanger, human smuggler. So if the Dems hadn't run to his defense, we might not have seen how bad they are and how stupid your party is. And it's not about the man, says Van Hollen. The Dems compelled us to feel for him. They wanted his name in our heads. I have seen that picture more times than I've seen pictures of my dog, Gus. Why does the media always use one picture? This guy, I mean, look, the picture is supposed to tell you, hey, he's a normal guy. You know, he doesn't look at child porn. He doesn't embezzle kids. Just look at him with his backward hat. You know, they demanded that we abide by their outrage narrative. What they didn't count on was that their poster child for persecution was actually the persecutor. And unlike Van Hollen, I am sincere when I say that scumbag is irrelevant. Not Van Hollen, but he is a scumbag. The criminal. It's the demand that the media and the Democrats have for us to accept their narrative. They did this with George Floyd. They did this with Michael Avenatti. They did this with Jussie Smollett. They did this with BLM. They did this with Greta Thunberg. They did this with Joe Biden. And they did this with Hamas. Did I say BLM yet?
Yes.
Okay. Every narrative that they feed us turns out to be horribly wrong. They're either a poor judge of character or they don't give an F whether they're telling the truth or not. The Dems can only blame themselves, Jessica, because they compelled themselves.
They called him I was going to say American dad. I meant to say Maryland dad. Turns out he's a human trafficker with a rap sheet long enough to build a border wall out of it. This is the real problem. When you turn these monsters into martyrs, you end up defending the people that put other people in danger, the American people in danger. The Democrats aren't just wrong here. They are reckless, clearly reckless. And while all this fake sympathy plays out in the cable news, here's what is really happening on the ground. Detainees at the Chrome facility in Miami literally spelling SOS with their bodies, begging not to be deported. I'll zoom in for y'all. Hold on. Let me get y'all right. I don't think there's no audio to it. Yeah, but this is not a concert. That's a protest by people who broke the law. And yes, it's emotional to the left, but emotion doesn't override national security. You want to stop the deportation? You shouldn't have crossed the line to begin with. Look, sympathy doesn't equal citizenship. Now, let's pull the curtain back even further, because this isn't just bad policy. Oh, I got to make sure I pause that clip because I still had the audio in the back. I'm sorry. But this isn't just bad policy. It's a political strategy. Congressman Brandon Gill breaks it down plain and simple. Check it out.
I think that the Democrat playbook, which has been their playbook for a very long time, is to bring in as many illegal aliens as they possibly can, provide a path to citizenship for those aliens, which then gives them voting rights. And Democrats have always bet that those people will vote Democrat perpetually. It's been a scheme to import voters. And finally, we have a president who's serious about stopping it, doing something about something that the American people have been talking about for a long time. Voters have been begging for border security. They've been begging for deportations, and now President Trump is ending the Democrat scheme.
Well, yes, he is. It was never about compassion, is what I'm trying to prove to y'all. It was about control. Bring as many people as possible, promise some benefits, expect their loyalty at the ballot box. That was the whole plan. That's not immigration. That's voter importation. Did I say that right? I don't know if that's, did I make that up? Export, import? Yeah. But it's costing American taxpayers every day. And if you think that's the end of it, oh my gosh, prepare yourself. Wait until you hear this, because they're not just defending illegals. They now want you to pay for their health care too. I'm not playing.
Everyone deserves health care.
Even illegals?
Every single person in the world deserves
Just for the record,
healthcare.
as a candidate, you're for illegal aliens getting Medicaid.
I think everyone in the world deserves
That's a
health
yes.
care.
That's a yes.
I'm such a
That's a
positive.
Democratic position.
It is a yes, but I mean,
It's a Democratic
Everyone in the
position.
world
Illegal
deserves
aliens should
healthcare.
get Medicaid.
But I mean,
How is this controversial?
But how is it controversial?
How is it controversial? They don't want somebody to die in the hospital because they can't afford
Who do you
it.
think pays for health care when undocumented people show up at a hospital? Who pays for that?
We all pay for it.
Exactly.
including
I mean, we all
undocumented
pay
people,
for
because
it.
they actually contribute.
That's the point. That's the point.
We do realize that undocumented
Who pays for the welfare system in this country generally? Taxpayers.
And perhaps,
Are you for it or not?
Can I start my logic train?
Are
with
you for it or not?
My logic train starts with
Just-
the fact
just
that
say
I don't
yes.
want to kick 11 million people off
Do you
of
want
Medicaid.
the illegal aliens on or not?
Do I want first of all, do I want undocumented citizens to
Just
have
say
health care?
yes.
The answer is yes.
Scott,
Okay.
if someone is
More
undocumented,
Democrats.
do you want them to not get insulin if they're diabetic?
I want Medicaid to exist first and foremost for American citizens who need it. That is what I
what about
want.
second? How about this? When the people that are
What about second?
picking your peaches. Yeah, I'm passionate
Very
about
passionate
Americans.
for the illegals.
Sorry,
No, I'm passionate for
How
Americans.
dare you want people to be alive? How dare you?
Passionate for the illegals.
You
Bring
know-
more.
No, I actually want
But yes,
safe and secure borders.
You need more. To make your vision of America work, we need more illegals who get more benefits. That's your version of America.
No, what I want from America is a place that was promised to us, Scott.
To the
Like you
illegals?
do. No, it was promised to us. It was promised to
Us
us,
who?
not us, me and you, black and white, brown. Scott, do you think that your family was
You were
born
born
here?
here.
You weren't born here, Scott.
I was born in
First of all,
Dawson
where does your family come from? My family wasn't born here. My family was actually from Sierra Leone.
You're making
Scott,
a passionate argument for a country built on unfettered illegal immigration, and that is not anywhere near a politically popular position.
Our country is built on immigration, period.
What kind?
Period.
What kind?
Oh, look at Scott's face.
Before we go to commercial, what kind? What kind of immigration was I brought here?
You're already in the hole. You sure you don't want to stop digging?
No, because it was slavery. That's not immigration.
Come on.
Well, okay.
Come on, what?
All right, there's a lot to be said. Hold on.
No. But you just can't say come on when somebody's like, my family was brought here in chains. The answer's not come on.
We're going to
let that sink in, man. You got American citizens ratioing insulin and skipping dentist visits, doctor visits, all of them. And they're over there arguing that every single person on earth, even illegals, should get Medicaid. Tell you what, man, you cannot make this up. It's insulting. You got hardworking Americans every day trying to obtain what you're trying to give these people for free. If that's not a slap in the face, I don't know what is. What about the moms? What about the kids, the disabled, who are out here who are less fortunate? And you ready to give up all the potential benefits for them to somebody? But here's the part that takes it from insane to embarrassing. So, you know about Marcelo Gomez. But the detainee went to the media, obviously, not to apologize, but about anything or to acknowledge his father's illegal. I believe that he's still being charged or still being deported. But he went on here to basically talk about the conditions he's in after getting caught illegally. Pete.
It's a really long sheet of this thin aluminum, I'm guessing, and we lay down on the concrete floor and put that over us and just sleep through the night. The doors are the doors are big, but there's only a small gap, and like there's days where we peek out the gap and we say, hey guard, can you give us something? And he'll be like, yeah, I'll get you it. And he would never come back. Like he would never. I asked for a Bible, and like for people to say that, for me to say the Pledge of Allegiance at my school every single day and not have a Bible in a federal agency place, it's horrible. It doesn't make sense to me. Like to me, I always choose God first, and that's all I did there. They give us a really long sheet of this.
You're here illegally. You got caught. Of course, they was looking for your pops. And now we're supposed to feel bad because your bedding was in 5-star, man. And they didn't bring you a Bible fast enough. No, man, that's not how this works. If you love America, respect the laws. If you break them, you don't cry fool when the system actually decides to hold you accountable. Jessica Tarlov, she wanted ICE to feel ashamed. I don't think that's going to happen. Because after watching all this, maybe she should feel ashamed for defending a broken system that puts sympathy above sovereignty. Plain and simple. America is waking up and the mask is off, since you want to talk about masks. Well, excuse me. And every time they try to spin it, the truth snaps it right back. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You could be saving their life. Peace.